Go for it.
Yes.
You can talk.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
You're completely allowed to talk. Go for it.
So I feel that I know there's this like kind of idea of identity and how that interacts with work, and I feel it's very difficult sometimes to work with that. And I found kind of a way of using it now that I feel quite happy with, because for a long time I wanted to make very political, very engaged work that kind of engaged directly with my experience. And now I've kind of found this point where I can interact with those ideas in a way that doesn't need me to overtly discuss them in my work, when I can discuss them in more written work. So I obviously am a trans woman of mixed descent, and I like kind of have this history that's intertwined with kind of colonial disputes in the countries I come from. And I'm very interested in post-colonial theory, but I found this middle ground where I like discussing in-betweens, because I feel like more and more these days we become in-between people. We're not specifically grounded to one country, maybe to one town, to one gender, to one sexuality, to one identity. Our identity is made of in-betweens now. More and more. Like, that may just be me thinking, but none of us are purely one thing.
Yeah, no, I'm inclined to agree.
And we move all the time. Like, none of it, even if, like if someone was English maybe and they decided to live in Spain, like their Englishness, I feel, changes. You look at someone may identify as a cisgender man and have their hormones be cis men hormones, but their chromosomes may actually be XX chromosomes, because even sex, which we perceive as being this binary thing, works in a really confusing way, because there's hormonal, there's biological, there's kind of genital sex, which are all separate from each other and expressed in different ways. And I think these binaries that we end up being stuck in and that we have to choose between really don't exist anymore. And I think that's kind of helped me find a point in my work where I can work with those in-betweens and with the idea of in-betweens, instead of having to directly address any one aspect of my identity in work. And I think that means that I can kind of play around with these ideas in an indirect way.
Definitely.
And then if I want to directly address them, I tend to directly address them in the more written aspects of my work.
And like you say, that helps you avoid this kind of pigeonholing, pushing into boxing that people love to do with artists. Of your art's like this person, and you're from this angle, and this is feminist, and this is very masculine, and there's all this language that we've added that's just sheer bullshit. And like you say, there's so many disparate elements that make up your practice that it's really nice to address those in a disparate way.
Exactly. Like I may be a trans woman, but that doesn't mean I'm just all of a sudden going to turn all my work into pastel pink.
Yeah, you're not just a trans woman as an artist, like that's just a part of this wider picture of you and the things you're going to explore.
Exactly, like the same way I've not changed up when I'm just not constantly wearing like bright pink, ultra feminine, whatever the fuck that means.
Because who's that for?
Exactly, you're not
You might beep that.
No, it's fine.
And yeah, so we can kind of come to that point where I can make works that are made from concrete, they're grey, they're monotone, whatever. I can do my paintings, and my paintings might involve more brighter, more pastel colours.
Yeah.
I can dress however the fuck I want, I can make whatever the fuck work I want to do, and I will carry on doing that.
Exactly that. Brilliant.
And I think that's one of the beauties of it, is that art gives you freedom to do shit, so why would you restrict yourself and pigeonhole yourself to your identity? Don't get me wrong, celebrate that identity, and if that is what you want to work with, by all means please do. But I feel like if it's someone else making you do that work, you should it's not, just do you.
Yeah, no, brilliant. I think that's a good bit to add.
Yeah, I think that's great. Yeah, like you can see it in the work.
It makes me want us to, like, I know we've got our one together, but we should film some more bits too.
Oh, and of course, Free Palestine.
Free Palestine. That always makes me think of, have you seen